Hello, everyone. Hello again. How are you today? Today, I am happy to be here as usual. And, I've been asking myself some questions and really questioning myself about, sometimes you go through some struggles and you wonder, you work so hard, you you put out so much effort, but it seems as if you're not making the leeway, you're not getting where you want to go. But you're putting out the work, you're putting in the effort, but whether it could be the people who you're working for, or the efforts that you're giving and doing, all that you're doing, it is falling on deaf ears, or it's not, people are just not appreciating it. What do you do? Do you give up, or do you continue to push? And while I was thinking about that question, because I think that's something that everyone will face at a particular time in their career, in their lives, feeling under appreciated. What do you do? I was thinking about this song that says, after you've done all you can, and it seems like it's never enough, what do you do? Just stand and be still and know that the person who it matters most to, and it matters most to, for you to do your best. He is seen, he is omniscient, he's seen, he is aware of all your efforts, and they're not going unnoticed by the one who matters most. And that is a comforting thought. I keep talking about, words to comfort us and inspire us. And that is one, knowing that at the end of it, you have done all you need to do. You have worked well. And at the end of it, your reward is going to be there. Don't worry about that. Just continue to push, continue to work. As I ended my last live talking about Dean Briggs and his poem, which says stand it, and just continue to work. Do your work. Do your work. Right, so let us begin the book that I want to look at today. It's Psalms, and my girls, they always say, Mom, you love Psalms so much. And yes, I do. I do love the Psalms because it is not only praising God and talking about his wondrous works, but it also gives us comfort in the midst of our storm. And as I've said before, I think I've said it on my live, I've said it on my videos, we all have to face a Goliath. Whatever the Goliath, if you have never heard about David and Goliath, that story, this little shepherd boy with a sling, he conquered a great giant who had everything. He came with spears and helmet and sword, but a lowly shepherd boy, because he went with what? The power and the force of God. So he was able to conquer Goliath with a sling. Okay, so this one, Psalms 46. God is our refuge and our strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth give way, and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea. Notice that word fear. We will not fear. And it's easy to be fearful. It's easy to be fearful. I remember watching this sermon, and the pastor was saying anytime he wants to do something and he feels fearful, he knows that that is the thing he should do. That's where God is leading him, because he does not give us an attitude of fear. No. And that is something that the devil gives us. So anytime you have, and I've had that, when you feel so fearful that your heart is up here in your chest, and you feel like, I cannot do this, that's the time to go forward. Because I'm going to read the second verse again. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam and the mountains quake with their surging. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her, she will not fall. God will help her at break of day. So that promise that all around you, turbulence, things are happening all around you. It is rough seas, but you can be safe when you know that your hand is in God. And I think that's the theme that's running through this, believing in a higher power and putting total faith and trust in that higher power. There's been so many times in my life. I was telling a story, this week I was telling a story about there are about 2 times in my life where I felt like I was going to break. I felt like this was the worst thing that could happen to me 2 times in my life. And I'm going to relate one incident in my life where, I thought that I would not come from out of that situation. So I went and I got a dream job. It was my absolute dream job. And I was, waiting and preparing for this dream job for years. It seems like it took years in the making. It took years to come. And I kept on praying for the breakthrough. I felt like, I was at a point in my career where I was not going through the glass ceiling. There was just a glass ceiling on top and I could not get through it. And so I prayed and I did my mood board, and I put down all the things that I wanted to achieve. And I was consistent in my praying what I wanted to achieve. And then I got the job. And I was over the moon. I went and in the UK, when you go for a teaching position, it is for a leadership teaching role, it is a long process. So you go in, of course, you have to get through the application stage. So they vet your application. And then the next stage is to go in, and you have, before you have the panel of interview, you have to do what they call an entry exercise. And it's a data task where you have to analyze data. Sometimes they want you to draft a proposal. Sometimes they want you to give a presentation talking about how to raise achievement and aspirations. So I went through that and I was successful. I went to the next stage, which was a student panel. So I had 5 students interviewing me, and the students liked me, and I went through that stage. And then the next stage was meeting the heads of departments, etc. And I went through that stage. And then the final stage was the panel of with the head teacher and other senior teachers, and I went through that stage. So it was a very exhausting day, and at the end I was just over the moon and so happy to achieve that position. And then when I went in, and while I was rejoicing, the devil was rejoicing as well. And I think we need to realize that God is working, but the devil is working as well. And how do we secure what we have? You know, maybe if I had, and I keep thinking about it, if I had prayed more, but then on further observation or what happened later, it was revealed to me. It was revealed to me that God was in control. He was still at the helm of what happened. So when I went in and, you know, I told everyone I had a senior position and everything, and I could sense that there were people who were thinking, how could you get a senior position, whatever. I had people coming to me saying, can I check their application, because there must be something they're doing wrong. And I did give back, because that's how you give back. And then, but we had a head teacher who, you know, for whatever reason, he wrote a reference that was questionable. And yes, you cannot give a bad reference, but you can say things that would be questionable, and he did. Okay, so I was on my way to work. It was a Friday. I remember it vividly. And I got a call from the school, because I was saying how the contracts were so taking so long to come, and it was taking a while to just finalize everything. I'd got the job, but here, when you get a job, you still have the reference checks, you still have the DBS checks, you still have other checks. So yes, you have the job, but you still have the checks. So I was saying, okay, the checks are going through. And so I got the call to say, we have to take back the offer. We're not going to go ahead with the offer because your references wasn't satisfactory. I don't know. It was a blow, because I'm like, I've worked so hard. I've been diligent. And I asked God, I asked him, I'm like, how could you allow this to happen? You're not a God who gives us things, tempts us with things, and then take it back. And I was devastated. And then out of that came what? The devastation and having to go back and pray and talk to God. And then I got another position better than the one that I just lost. I got a better position, a better school, a better position. And then later on, there was a big scandal at the school that I was going to go to. A big scandal where, you know, they wanted to close the school because the behavior was so bad. And I look back, I reflect on that now. What if it was revealed to me at that time that I didn't have to worry, I didn't have to be devastated, I didn't have to think that this was the worst thing that could happen to me, and I didn't have to question God, because he's sovereign and he knew that what he was sparing me from, he was sparing me from something that if I'd gone into it, maybe I would have left teaching. Maybe I wonder what would have happened. But God is a God. He knows things before they happen. He's sovereign. He knows it. He knows the future before it happens. And he intervened on my behalf. And that's why I am saying today, be faithful and trust God. Trust him 100%. Even when things around you, it might seem like it's not going the way you want it to go. Or it may seem like things aren't working in your favor. Or it may seem like you're working so hard and you're giving so much and you're being unappreciated. You're not appreciated. You know, all the work seems to be going for naught. It isn't, because the person, God, is seen, and that's what matters. So let's continue with Psalms 46. So I'm at verse 7. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Come and see what the Lord has done, the desolations he has brought on the earth. He makes wars cease to the ends of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the shields with fire. He says, be still and know that I am God. You know that word, that phrase and that word, stillness, be still. What does it mean to be still? You know, being inactive, not trying to do it for yourself. You leaving God to work. So be still and know that I'm God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. And it's just really powerful. And for me, that is the bit that resonates with me today. Be still and know that I am God. How do we, it is human to want to control what is happening and be in the driver's seat and pull in all the stops. And it is when we get to the point where we are still, we learn to be still. And I talk all the time about the Israelites, how because of their doubt and disbelief, they spent 40 years getting to a place that would have taken them 12 days. 40 years because they were complainers. They didn't believe. They didn't see. They didn't reap what they were supposed to reap. They were the promised ones. They were God's children. But they were not faithful. And today, I pray that we all are faithful, that we are still. In stillness, we feel God's presence. We know that He speaks with a still small voice. But we have to be still to listen and really reap all the rewards. And as I said, I shared my experience of going through what I felt was the worst possible experience, and then realizing that God was working for me, even in the turmoil, even in the turbulence and the storm. He was right with me. And it just reminded me of a story that I heard. It was a story in song when I was growing up, of this person who was going through so much, and they questioned God. They said, in the dream, so they were dreaming, and in the dream, they saw one set of footprints. The song says, one set of footprints in the sand. And they questioned the Lord. They said, through my worst times, the worst things that ever happened to me, when I reflect, when I look in the dream, it was just one set of footprints. When I needed you most, it seems like you left me. And God answered and said, no, my child, that one set of footprints that you saw in the sand, those were mine. When you were going through the hardest times in your life, it was then that I was carrying you. And that is so, to know that He is there with us. There's someone there with you throughout. And when you think about your best friend that you have, and that best friend might go through really personal traumatic times with you, and they're there, think of God as an even better friend. He is that friend that sticketh closer than a brother, and He's there carrying you through. You're never ever alone. And I think the loneliest experience that mothers can ever experience is that experience of childbirth. It is the loneliest experience because it's just you and the pain. That's just it. There's nothing through the pain, right? You are going to, that labor of love, you're going to get a wonderful miracle. However, you have to go through that in order to get it. And it's one of the loneliest journeys, because even though you might have your partner, your husband there, rubbing your back, holding your hands, he cannot empathize with you because he cannot feel the searing pain. But knowing that even in that journey, and that journey that you think is so lonely, God is there with you. God is there through, as you know, I have 5 girls, so I've had 4 experiences of childbirth because I have twins. So 4 times I've gone through it. And for me, I go inside. So I don't like scream and make a lot of noise. No, I save my energy and I just breathe it out and just really focus. I repeat scriptures as well, and that helps a lot to kind of really focus me on what I'm doing, the purpose, what I'm doing. This great purpose is such a great powerful experience. So I go internally, I read a scripture. So I choose a scripture to memorize so I can really focus on that. So when the pain is going on, and I'm telling you, there's no pain like that, when the pain is going on, you have something else to focus on, so it doesn't feel so overwhelming, because it is overwhelming. And especially, I remember, and this was just so humorous, when I realized that I was going to have twins. I remember, because with the twins, as the sonographer said to me, if you thought you were special, well, you're extra special, because everyone, you're going to have so much intervention, you're going to have so much happening, and so many scans and meetings and all of that. So when I went to the consultants, because every week I had to go in and then do scans, etc. So when I met up with the consultant, and I said, because I just thought that it must be that you have 2 pains. No, you have one, not 2. You just have one. So you go through, you have the contractions, and you have the babies. You don't have double contract. Like, okay, once the one baby start to come, the other will come, and you won't have that repeat of the pain and all of that. No. He quickly, because he was a man, quickly said to me, no, you will have 2 sets of contractions because you need the contraction for the baby. And I was like, that was my reaction. Really, like, no. I'm like, you mean that I'll have to bear that twice? And so I say all of that to say this, knowing that God was right there with me, really saying, go on, you can do it. In my mind, that helped, because, as I said, I had a natural delivery. Even though I went into spontaneous labor, even though Amara and Annalise were preterm, I still had a natural delivery where I had to push, where I had to have the contractions, and it was double. So yes, well done to all the moms of multiples. It is. But then, seeing them, as I said in my earlier videos, and if you haven't watched their journey, you can go and have a look at their journey, and just check that out and hear the entire story about trips to the hospital, what it's like on the NHS, what's like at the hospital that I went to, and all of that. So yes, I have come to the end, guys, and as always, it has been nice to just come and have a chat. I think I look forward to Mondays because after, you have the Monday morning blues, you go into work, and then I come home and I have this. I can recap my day. I can talk about experiences, both professional experiences and experiences as a mother and a wife. And that is just, as the name of the channel suggests, all of those things, being a doctoral student, being a wife, being a mother, being an educator, all of those things just mesh together and marry together to really promote what I would like to do. I like to motivate, I like to inspire, and I like to educate. Those three things, that's what I like to do. And of course, guys, I have so many new things in the pipeline. I'm currently writing my novel, which I think maybe one of these days I will share a chapter or something like that. And then I'm doing my dissertation right now. And then the girls are doing, their things. Nia is looking to go to, my eldest is looking to move on to primary. She's in primary school. She's looking to move on to secondary school. So that's a great transition for her. So yes, there are a lot of things that's happening in the pipeline. So we give God the glory for all these things. We give God the glory that we are safe, that we have no illness. And when I read these psalms about, God is our refuge and nothing will come nigh you if you only trust and believe in him. And especially with the pandemic going on and being in the classroom and knowing that, I have students who have had to, self-isolate. So it is just feeling really blessed to be healthy right now, and feeling blessed to have a platform, to have this platform where I can share with you. And as always, if you haven't yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Please click that subscribe button, and of course click the notification bell so you'll actually get an alert when I go live, so you don't miss my lives. Also, please comment and tell me what you would like me to discuss. What are some of the things that you would like to hear me talk about? I'm really open to really discussing things, as you can see from my channel. So please, just interact with me. I really like hearing from you. It makes, right now, when you're talking to a screen, sometimes it seems like, oh, well, I'm just talking to myself. Also, you can follow me on Instagram, and you can also follow me on TikTok. I'm now on TikTok as well. I will put all the links in the description below, so you can do that as well. And now I'm going to say bye for now. I'm going to go and do my mom duties, get these little girls into bed. So stay blessed until the next one. Bye for now.